Hello everyone and welcome to Ecosistant. The EU single market is changing and with it the rules governing how products can be sold online. With the new General Product Safety Regulation GPSR, the EU is tightening the reins on product safety, more obligations for retailers, stricter requirements for information in online shops and stronger market surveillance, especially in e-commerce. In this video, we take a look at what the GPSR basically regulates, but with a special focus on cosmetic products. In other words, everything that many of you ship on a daily basis, from creams to serums to makeup and perfume. It gets particularly exciting where the GPSR supplements the existing EU cosmetics regulation, for example in the case of offers in online shops and other forms of distance selling. We are supported in this by our partners at Taube Consulting. Taube is a consulting firm specializing in cosmetics law that has been helping beauty brands bring their products to market safely and in compliance with the law in Europe and the UK since 2017. So let's take a look at what will change with the GPSR, what cosmetics manufacturers and online retailers need to pay particular attention to, and what information should be included in your online shop when selling cosmetics remotely in the future. Let's get started. In May 2023, the European Union published the General Product Safety Regulation GPSR number 2023-988. This regulation applies from 13th of December 2024 to products not covered by sector-specific legislation. It replaces the General Product Safety Directive GPSD and introduces requirements for areas not previously addressed, such as distance selling and e-commerce. Article 19 of the GPSR outlines the information that economic operators must provide when offering products for sale in the EU market through online platforms or other forms of distance selling. Understanding the EU's new General Product Safety Regulation, what has changed with the transition from GPSD? The regulation is not new, but it significantly strengthens the previous provisions on product safety under the GPSD. The revision was necessary due to the rise in online trade and the increased risk of unsafe products being sold in the EU. With a horizontal scope, the regulation applies to all products placed on the European market, including those covered by specific regulations, ensuring any gaps or grey areas are addressed. The main objectives of the regulation are: establish precise rules that manufacturers, importers and distributors must follow to make sure that products are safe before being placed on the market. Consider changes in the market, in particular the increase in online commerce and technological innovation, to create a more effective framework than the old directive. Strengthen consumer protection against dangerous products. Introduce new measures to improve traceability, facilitate recalls, and increase the transparency of information on potential risks. Introduce stricter rules for marketplaces and online platforms, and have the EU take specific measures for more effective market surveillance and the rapid withdrawal of non-compliant products. From a legal and commercial point of view, a product is any article, whether or not interconnected with other articles, supplied or made available for consideration or free of charge, including in the context of a provision of services to consumers, or capable, under reasonably foreseeable conditions, of being used by consumers, even if not intended for them. This agreement implies obligations and responsibilities, as the product must meet quality, compliance and safety requirements set by industry regulations. A safe product is one that, under normal or reasonably foreseeable conditions of use, poses no risk to consumer health and safety, or only minimal risks deemed acceptable and appropriate for its intended use. Product safety is a dynamic concept requiring continuous risk assessment over time, considering technological advances, scientific developments, and user behavior. Opportunities for manufacturers, distributors, and exporters under the GPSR. Increased reliability and competitiveness. Adapting to the new regulation can increase consumer confidence in the products offered, thus improving brand image and market competitiveness. Access to new markets. Compliance with GPSR makes it easier to access EU markets, making it easier to expand your export activities. And reduced legal risks. Implementing new security measures can reduce the risks of penalties and product recalls, protecting your business from potential financial and reputational losses. So, does the GPSR apply to cosmetics products in the EU? Cosmetics products placed on the EU market, including those sold online, must first comply with the EU Cosmetics Regulation 1223/2009, also known as CPR. In addition, under the GPSR, cosmetics sold via distance channels must meet the requirements of Article 19, addressing aspects not covered by the Cosmetics Regulation. Article 19 of the GPSR therefore complements Article 19 of the CPR regarding labeling requirements. Information required to be displayed for distance selling. In November 2023, to support the cosmetics industry in applying Article 19 of the GPSR, Cosmetics Europe drafted guidelines to help companies manage these requirements. The key points of these guidelines are manufacturer's name, mailing and electronic addresses, registered trade name or registered trademark of the manufacturer, as well as the mailing and electronic address at which they can be contacted. Regarding the postal address, according to the CPR Article 19(1)(a), the postal address may be shortened to the extent that it allows the identification of the responsible person and his or her address. And considering the electronic address, this can be understood as both an email address and a website address. The previous information is not necessary if it's legible in the photo of the product sold. Information to identify the product, including an image, its type, and any other identifiers. Typology refers to the function of the product as defined in the EU Cosmetics Regulation. In addition, the offer should describe the available shades and sizes, the product name and the line and the brand if relevant. And warnings or safety information in a language easily understood by consumers, like the special precautions for use specified in the annexes to the EU Cosmetics Regulation and those identified by the safety assessor. This information should be translated into the national languages of the countries in which the products are sold, depending on the indications of the individual member state. The previous elements are not required to be shown separately if they are legible in the product image. Steps to ensure compliance with the GPSR. More specifically, the aforementioned Article 19 of the GPSR provides that product listings for distance sales must clearly and visibly contain the following information: name of the responsible person, postal and electronic address, so email or website of the responsible person, information to identify the product, including an image, its function and other identifiers, available shades and sizes, product name and trademark when relevant, and warnings or safety information, such as special precautions for use. This information must be translated into the national languages of the countries where the products are sold and does not need to be displayed separately if it is legible in the product image. The role of the responsible person. The Cosmetics Europe document clarifies that compliance with Article 19 of the GPSR is a shared responsibility between the responsible person and the retailer selling via distance channels. The responsible person must provide the required information outlined in Article 19 to the online retailer and ensure it remains up to date. The retailer in turn is responsible for prominently displaying this information for distance sales. To facilitate compliance, the responsible person may establish a contractual agreement with the retailer. And what is the language of communication? Companies that make cosmetic products available on the market through online sales or other means of distance selling must ensure that consumers have access to the required information in the language or languages determined in the law of the member state pursuant to Article 19.5 of the CPR. However, the information required pursuant to paragraphs A and B of Article 19.1 of the GPSR, so name and addresses of the responsible person, must not be translated except in cases where different alphabets are used. And what happens in case of non-compliance with the regulations? The regulation introduces severe penalties for companies that do not comply with the new regulations. Penalties can include significant fines and other remedial measures, which vary depending on the severity of the violation and the size of the company involved. One of the key tools strengthened by the EU Regulation 2023/988 is the Safety Gate, formerly known as the Rapid Alert System for Non-Food Products, RAPEX. Managed by the European Commission in collaboration with national authorities of the member states, it serves as the EU's rapid alert system for dangerous non-food products. This platform enables national authorities to swiftly exchange information on hazardous products found on the market, ensuring a coordinated and effective response at the European level. And how do I know if my product is compliant? The support of an experienced partner who has closely followed the entire legislative process, such as our partner Taube Consulting, is particularly valuable in this regard. Taube helps companies correctly implement the new requirements and reliably assess the safety and compliance of their products. So, if you are unsure whether your cosmetic products comply with the GPSR requirements, we recommend that you contact Taube directly and check your product compliance together. You'll find a link in the video description. And of course, a big thank you to Taube for their cooperation and expert support. That's it for today. See you next time.